Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel No Filter Global. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most famous images in all of history. When I say the word Viking, what is the first thing that pops into your head? I bet I know what it is. You are probably picturing a big, strong warrior with a long beard, holding a giant axe. And on his head, he is wearing a metal helmet with two big horns sticking out of the sides. This image is everywhere. We see it in cartoons, in huge blockbuster movies, in video games, and even on the logos of professional American football teams. It is the ultimate symbol of the Viking barbarian. It looks cool, frightening, and powerful. But today, I have to tell you something shocking. It is almost entirely fake. That's right. The most famous thing about Vikings is something they almost certainly never wore. Today, we are going to find out why the horned helmet is a myth, why it would be terrible in a real fight, and exactly who started this lie. Before we look at history, let's just use common sense. Think about what a helmet is for. It is designed to protect your head in a battle. The best kind of helmet is round and smooth. If someone swings a sword or an axe at your head, you want that weapon to slide off the curved surface. You do not want the weapon to stick. Now, imagine putting two giant horns on that helmet. Suddenly, you have created a huge problem for yourself. In a close fight, those horns are dangerous to the person wearing them. An enemy soldier could easily grab one of the horns and pull your head down, twisting your neck or pulling you off balance. Even worse, if a sword hits that horn, it won't slide off. The sword will catch on the horn. This transfers all the energy of that heavy blow straight into your neck. Instead of protecting you, the horns make it easier for you to get hurt. Vikings were very practical people. They were experienced fighters. It makes absolutely no sense that they would wear something so silly and dangerous into a real life or death battle. So, if common sense says no horns, what does history say? Archaeologists are the scientists who dig up objects from the past to learn how people lived. They have dug up thousands of Viking graves, ship burials, and old battlefields all over Scandinavia and England. They have found swords, axes, shields, jewelry, and clothes. But they have found almost zero helmets. Because iron rusts. Over 1,000 years buried in damp ground, most iron objects just turn to dust. We know from old stories that Viking kings and rich leaders wore helmets, but most regular warriors probably just wore thick leather caps, which have also rotted away. However, we did get lucky once. In Norway, archaeologists found the only complete Viking helmet ever discovered. It is called the Gjermundbu helmet. Look closely at it. It is made of iron plates riveted together. It has a rounded cap and a guard around the eyes that looks like spectacles or glasses to protect the face. But notice what is missing? There are absolutely no horns. It is a smooth, practical piece of military equipment designed to deflect blows. This is what a real Viking looked like. If the Vikings didn't wear horned helmets, where did this crazy idea come from? Did someone just make it up completely? Well, not entirely. There actually were people in Europe who wore helmets with horns. But here is the twist. They lived more than 1,000 years before the Vikings. Archaeologists have found bronze helmets with horns that date back to the Nordic Bronze Age. These people were the very distant ancestors of the Vikings. But these helmets were not for war. They were made of thin metal that would crush easily in a fight. Historians believe these were only worn by priests during special religious ceremonies or rituals. So, horned helmets did exist in the same region, but they were for ancient priests, not Viking warriors. Somewhere along the way, history got confused, and people started mixing up these ancient ritual hats with the later Viking fighters. So we have ancient priests and practical Vikings. How did we get the modern myth? For that, we have to fast forward to the 1800s. During the 19th century, people in Germany and Scandinavia became very obsessed with their ancient history and myths. They wanted to tell grand, romantic stories about their past. In the 1870s, a very famous German composer named Richard Wagner created a massive, epic opera series called The Ring of the Nibelung. It was based on ancient Norse mythology involving gods and heroes. When they were designing the costumes for the opera, the costume designer wanted the characters to look ancient, barbaric, and godlike. He had seen pictures of those old Bronze Age ritual helmets, and he thought they looked dramatic. So he put horns on the helmets of the opera singers. The opera was a massive worldwide success. Those images of horned singers became famous everywhere. Soon, artists, comic book writers, and filmmakers started copying that style whenever they drew a Viking. The image stuck, and the real history was forgotten by the general public. So, to summarize, did Vikings wear horned helmets? It is a total myth. If a real Viking saw a helmet with horns, he would probably laugh and ask why you were wearing a priest's hat to a sword fight. The real Vikings were terrifying sailors, explorers, and warriors. They didn't need silly, impractical costumes to be scary. The horned helmet is really just a costume prop from a 150-year-old opera that became more famous than the reality. It just goes to show that sometimes a cool-looking lie is easier to remember than the boring truth. Thanks for watching. If you liked busting this myth, please hit the like button and subscribe for more history videos. Let me know in the comments what other historical myths you want me to cover. See you next time.